So you're thinking about selling your home and you're stuck in that mental tug of war, meaning, do I fix this? Do I fix that? Do I do a complete remodel? Or is that just going to be a big black hole? Am I going to waste a ton of money? And I get it. This is overwhelming, but you're not alone, my friends. Listen, in this video, I'm going to talk about the 7 things you should not do if you're thinking about selling your home in today's market. And as a bonus, I'm going to give you 2 things that you should do that won't cost you a penny, and it's going to help you increase the value of your property. Hey everyone, if you haven't met yet, I'm Troy Sage, local realtor, and I'm dedicated to doing real estate differently. And someone asked me the other day, what does that mean, real estate differently? Well, what it means is that I strategize with every one of my clients because everyone is unique. Every house has its own situation, along with the owners have their own want and need for selling their property. And what I do differently is I strategize with you to help you get the biggest bang for your buck in the least amount of stress. I mean, the days of just putting your house on the market and putting a sign in the front yard and praying for a buyer, I mean, those days are long gone. You really have to have a solid strategy. So if you're in the North Dallas, Texas area and you want to talk to me about strategies, feel free to drop a comment or reach out to me direct. Other than that, let's get on to the 7 things to never do if you're thinking about selling your home right now. Let's dive in. Never, and I mean never, remodel your kitchen and your bathroom. And I know you've probably heard this before, maybe a long time ago, where people said, hey, let's remodel the kitchen and the bath and we're going to get all of our money back. That is not the case. And honestly, in all the years of me doing real estate, it's never been the case where you're going to get 100% of your money back. So if your kitchen is tore up from the floor up and your bathroom is not working properly, and maybe the shower head's not working at all, or the toilet's broken, obviously you're going to fix things, but never, ever, ever remodel either of those big areas in your home. Number 1, they're very costly. And number 2, what if you choose something that is to your liking and the buyer doesn't like it at all? You're just wasting money. And in regards to return on investment, just because you spend $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 on a kitchen does not mean it's going to appraise for that much higher than the house down the street that just sold. So keep in mind that putting money into a complete remodel, when you do that, make sure it's something that you're going to enjoy and you're going to use it for a minimum. What I tell my clients is a minimum of 3 years to get the big bang for your buck. Now, if your kitchen is old, it looks old, but everything's functional, a few things that you can do is you can paint the cabinets. Sometimes you can resurface the countertops. If you have old Formica, it wouldn't be a bad idea to resurface those by either putting in some granite or some quartz, but don't spend a lot of money because you might pick something that's really cool in your opinion, and the next person comes along and says, I don't like that granite whatsoever, and they're going to rip it out anyway. So quick paint, clean it up, get all of your appliances off the countertops when you get ready to market the property, and just make sure everything is shiny and is working properly. Same thing in the bathroom. In the bathroom, if things aren't working, you can absolutely want to fix those things. But if it's working fine, a few things that you can do is you can paint the vanity, you can put in a new mirror. I mean, inexpensive things to make the bathroom pop. Another thing to never do is to replace your roof. Now, here in North Dallas, Texas, we get some really sporadic weather. We get rain, we get hail, we get wind, we get a lot of stuff here in North Dallas, Texas area. So if your roof has an issue, there's a leak, or you're missing some roof tiles or some shingles, then obviously repair that. But don't go through the expense of $10,000, $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 and putting on a new roof just to sell your home, because you're just not going to get that money back. Again, if you have issues with the roof, I would repair those issues and be prepared that in the event that we have some sporadic hail, that you may have repairs while the property is being listed. Now, I will tell you this. I got an offer on a property that I've listed, and the buyer actually asked that we would call my seller's adjuster for his homeowner's insurance and see what they thought. Now, in this particular case, what happened was the adjuster came out and said, we need a new roof. And then my seller paid the deductible. We negotiated a few things, so it was still beneficial for both sides, and they got a new roof. But Never just replace the roof because you feel like, well, it's a few years old or it's 10 years old and I need to replace this roof. Make that something that you can negotiate before you start spending money. On any investment that you're about to sell, especially a big ticket item like a house or a car, you just don't do a bunch of things if nothing's wrong with it. So don't replace the roof. Make it something that's negotiable. Another thing I've seen and I have had conversations with sellers about is here in this area, we get cracks in our driveway. And sometimes they're little tiny hairline cracks and sometimes they're big cracks. And sometimes we actually have the driveway is sinking into the ground or there's an issue with it. So if there's a problem with the driveway, I would absolutely fix it as long as you're living there. But if you have little tiny hairline cracks, nobody wants to see, and maybe you've seen this if you're watching my video, you drive by a home and it's got this beautiful cement and it's got all these gray or black tar lines and it looks like it's like veins all over the entire driveway. Don't fix those. If they're hairline cracks, let it be. Now, if you have an entire slab that's part of your driveway, then you're going to want to repair that for sure. So you're seeing this common theme throughout this video that we're talking about doing repairs if needed, but we're not replacing a bunch of stuff. We're going to show the home in its current light, because putting too much money into a property in hopes to get the money out is just the opposite of what you should be doing if you're thinking about selling the property. So driveways, sidewalks, make sure they're clean, they're edged really well if there's grass next to those, but don't go through there and put little lines in every single crack. It just looks horrible and it takes away from the curb appeal. Another item on the house that sellers and I talk about quite often is the front door. So some of these tract homes here in North Dallas, Texas have the old front doors. It's got the little tiny peephole you can look out, and they're metal and they're not very attractive. Now, if you can get a deal on a front door, fantastic. But I'll tell you right now that the cost of everything has gone up so sky high that it's not inexpensive to get a front door. So several people that I've just sold their property, I said, do not change the front door. It's too expensive. But if you don't like how the door looks, then simply paint it. Usually a simple white, or what I've seen really work, believe it or not, is a red or a yellow door. And you know, I was reading on this somewhere in one of my marketing books, and it was talking about that McDonald's being the red and the gold color, the golden arches, something happens in our brain that we think it's very welcoming. So I'm not saying to go paint all your doors red and gold, but those are some psychological colors. I would just say either a dark tone, depending on the outside of your house, or real light tone. Just put a fresh coat of paint on it. There's no point in replacing the front door. Now, we've gone through a few of these, and I'd like to know what your thoughts are behind what we've talked about thus far, especially the front door, because I've had people tell me, Troy, you're absolutely crazy. I'm not going to paint my front door white, or I'm not going to paint it red or gold, or I'd rather paint it blue or pink or whatever. Let me know your thoughts. Have you ever seen a front door that looked really out of line with the rest of the house? Or have you driven by a home and said, wow, that front door color is pretty cool? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below about the front doors or anything else that I've talked about so far in the video. Now let's dive back in. Another item in the house that people bring to my attention are the window coverings. So number one, do not put in new window coverings, with the exception of this. If you have blinds in the windows and they're cracked or they're broken or they're not functioning properly, my suggestion is go to the hardware store, whichever one's close to you, and buy the mid-grade or least expensive blinds, the ones that actually can louver like this and can go up and down. Buy those and replace the blinds is all you have to do. Now, if you've got curtains up, and heaven forbid, you've got, grandma's old curtains, take those down. I don't care if they match grandma's couch that's in that room. Take those down. Nobody wants to see that. Remember, we're marketing a product, and buyers want to see a lot of light. They want to see open, airy floor plans and concepts, and they want every room to feel bigger, and the easiest way to make a room feel bigger is with a lot of light. So I would clean the blinds, and if they're broken or they're not functioning, then I would change the blinds, but do it very inexpensively. Now let's talk about the curb appeal or the landscaping, which is really important because it's the first thing that people see when they pull up in front of your house. And remember, we're selling a product. But one thing I warn people not to do is don't put in a ton of new landscaping, because the plants you put in may or may not survive, which means you're planting and replanting and replanting. Number two, they may not be the plants that a buyer is excited about. So here in North Dallas, Texas, some people put palm trees in certain areas of their yard. And I'll tell you, that's really cool in California, but not necessarily as cool in North Dallas, Texas area, because it gets cold and they struggle to survive. So don't buy a lot of landscaping. Instead, look at what you have, clean the sidewalks, clean the walkway, clean everything up, and add fresh mulch. That always makes it pop. When there's fresh mulch in the flower gardens or in the shrubbery area, the fresh mulch makes everything pop. It's very, very, very inexpensive to do. So don't go crazy on the landscaping. Just clean it. Step back from the property, walk across the street, look at it. When you look at the home, say, wow, that is a clean, sharp looking product. Now, if you're unsure of a clean, sharp looking product, feel free to leave me a comment or reach out to me. I'll be happy to swing by and let you know exactly what buyers are looking for. We'll look at this with our buyer's hat on, not as a seller, either trying to overdo things to get people to come to the home, or a seller that simply isn't trying to present the property in its best light. Now, I want to talk about a couple of bonus things that we discussed in the beginning of this video that I want to give you two things that you can do right now, which are basically free to do. It's going to take you some time. That's really going to help you in marketing and selling your property, and it's going to give you a bigger return. And the number one most important thing is to declutter and depersonalize your home. And I will tell you that one man's clutter may be another man's clean. So let me tell you this. When I say declutter, I mean declutter. If you have an opportunity to go out and look at some new construction, look how that property looks. There isn't stuff everywhere. So if you've got little ones, make sure their toys are put away. Closets are a great place to put stuff, and better yet, a great place to put stuff is in the garage. Box it up because you're getting ready to move anyways. We're going to sell this property and you're going to move. So start boxing things up. Anything that you haven't touched in the past 60 to 90 days, put it in boxes and declutter. So if you got shelves like I do behind me, if I was selling my office or my house right now, I would have half the amount of things on those shelves than what I have. So declutter, declutter, declutter. Also depersonalize. Get rid of all your personal pictures. I've worked with plenty of military and they've got beautiful awards and certificates, and hats off to the military. Thank you for your sacrifice and your service. But put those in boxes, because here's what happens. People will see an award or a poster or a picture, and especially if you have children or a family pictures definitely have to go. They'll see that and they will start forgetting why they're in the house. So definitely put all that stuff away, all the personal stuff, and most importantly, all your family pictures, all of them. Pack those up, get them somewhere safe. We don't want people walking through and going, hey, they have 2 or 3 kids, or they got 4 kids. Hey, we got 4 kids. And then worse yet, you know how the internet is. Once it's out there, it's out there. So protect yourself and your family and depersonalize and declutter. And the last thing that you really, really need to do, and you can do it as a family if you have a family, you take a couple of days and you deep clean everything. And if you've got carpet, don't deep clean the carpet. Hire somebody, a true professional, to deep clean the carpet. I don't care what you try to use from a hardware store or a grocery store. You go rent the machine and you're rocking that out, and then all of a sudden you're like, wow, it doesn't come clean, because they just can't sell you the right stuff to get the carpet super, super clean. So have your carpets deep cleaned, have your tile deep cleaned and all the grout steamed. We want to really make this property shine and make it pop. Think about selling this product, which is your house, just like it would a car. And I've had this story and this explanation to sellers before. If there were 2 exact cars on the car lot and one had a beautiful detail to it with new tires, and then one next to it was the same exact car, but it was dirty, which one's going to sell faster for more money? Well, obviously the one that's clean and detailed. So you want to detail your property. Make sure everything's super clean. Bottom line is spend your money very smart. Don't put money where it's not needed. So when you're walking through your property, make sure you're not trying to remodel to make it look like the latest, greatest thing. do exactly what you need to do to make it pop. Listen, if you'd like me to check out your property before you put it on the market, I'll be happy to spend some time with you and show you exactly what needs to be done so you're saving yourself some money. And I'd love to help you strategize on how to get that property sold in the least period of time for the most amount of money. If you'd like me to do that, feel free to leave a comment below or reach out to me direct. I'll be happy to spend some time with you. My contact information is in the description. And lastly, if you like these videos, well, you pretty much know what to do. Click subscribe and the bell, and you'll be alerted every time I upload another video. And if you want to know more about what's going on in real estate, check out these videos here.